And I thought I was done with dumb questions. Before all this, it was, how do you make a dagger? Now it's, how do you dry one of these? Really, guys? Really? I mean, quite simply, just put it underneath books. Like, hardback book, floor. Okay, so this step took almost about 2 hours. Surprisingly, this one is going a lot faster than some other builds. But I just want to show you guys a little something. I was not looking forward to cutting this thing out, mostly with these rounded edges here. Like, let me show you why. I cannot cut round edges to save my life. They always come out frayed like this. Mostly because you have to cut in layers, and it's very difficult to get curved edges all lined up in layers. But this is what a straight edge actually looks like. Actually, that's slightly curved. I can do slight curves, but not sharp curves like that. Actually, that portion, I need to go back and fix that up a little bit. But yeah, look at that. It's all smooth and everything. All the way up to the tip. And then we have this mess. Yeah. Alright, so I've gotten to, done supporting, gotten to the paneling stage now. And this one's a little bit unique, I guess, just because of the shape of it. No supports on these, just because it's going to be a decoration item, mostly. But for sharp angles and the like, you'll notice that you'll leave somewhat of a gap like this. This will have to be papered over, kind of the same way we do the handle. So the way I'm going to do this is get 2 layers of this panel on top. First for the base layer, and then I'm going to paper over that and have this as a workable material, just so I can get the correct spacing and angle on these gaps. And then, seeing that there's going to be a piece of like decoration running across there, it's going to be running across a seam. So instead, I'm going to put a second layer of this panel on there, just so we can level that seam, and then put the decoration on top of it. That way when I paint it, I don't get this little gap underneath that little piece. You'll see when we get there. Oh my god, this is taking an unbelievable amount of time. Believe it or not, from this point when I started doing this, and up until now, this is only the 3rd piece. This is the 3rd freaking panel. Typically I'd be done by now, but almost 9 hours has passed. And I only got 3 pieces on this thing. The main reason being is that today, for some reason, we're just on-off working on this thing. But on average, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get one of these panels glued on and cut. The real major issue I'm having is this little piece here. Is that there's this little gap in here. I just got this filled not too long ago, so I think that's finally glued down. I finally got this thing sorted. But now it's this side. I think this is what, the 3rd try now? This took almost 4 tries to get that gap done. This side has gone, this is the third time you're looking at it now. This one went on the 1st time, which was real good. Real good, right. Words, I cannot words. Which was real nice. This is a hassle. The reason being is because this freaking little curve. I get uneven clamping pressure on this, and what would happen is that you clamp too far up and you leave this huge fold line, which is highly visible. It's been a while since I turned on this camera again, but gotten far enough to finally be able to paint this thing. Okay, so the matte black did not turn out as I would like it, so I'm going to have to go back out and grab another can of paint of gloss black and hit it again, see what happens. Luckily I only did one side, but I may have to do a matte black on this side just to get the right coloration. Oh well. Oh no. Okay, so most of this, actually all of this, It is spray painted black. I still got the tape and everything to remove. Show you what the tape's for. Start with something small. I still got tape everywhere. I need a bigger room. I need a bigger table, actually. Oh. Okay. Ended up flinging that into the hallway, but whatever. So this is what happened. For the white little accent, I just left it as the paper color instead of trying to go over it with another white acrylic paint, kind of like what we did with the elucidator. So what happens is, if I can carefully peel this off without killing it, yeah, this is a real problem, because if you don't seal the edges well enough prior, when you try to take it off, you end up taking a layer of that off. So I gotta figure out a way to get this thing off without peeling back a layer of paper. Actually, I'll just start from the inside, then I can seal it off later. I mean, ideally, you want to seal it before you tape it, but then that would cause issues when you have glue stains on the exposed surface, because then what would happen is that the paint would actually sit on top of that, and you get this very particularly shiny spot that'd be very, very visible when you paint it. So I prefer not to, and just take my time peeling this thing back. And then afterwards I can go back through and glue it. The easiest way to do this is to peel from inside out, so have this thing angled in a way that it's pointing inwards. That way the piece to come off the paper first is from the inside, so you don't run the risk of tearing a layer of paper off. And almost lost a little bit there. Nothing I can't fix. Yeah, I got this little bulge here because of a dull knife. That would happen. You end up getting carry a little paper along with it, but that's easy to fix. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this off, and then I'm gonna jump cut to finished product. Okay, so I've somewhat made this a little bit more difficult on myself by actually sticking two things of tape, a sticky side to sticky side. Probably shouldn't have done that in my attempt to expedite the painting. I am now going to have to make up that time by slowing down and taking it easy. Now, one thing there is to note though, is that occasionally you'll get some leakage from where the tape didn't quite stick well, right here, as you can see. But it's not too bad, because you still gotta do some minor touch-up work. You can do some minor touch-up with like white acrylic paint. You know, small areas like these are not going to be noticeable, but when you do an entire edge with acrylic, you will create very, very noticeable brush strokes, because that's a telltale sign that gives it away. I've seen one person who submitted a picture of a elucidator. I forget who it is. He had painted the edges on with white acrylic, and it stood out like a sore thumb. On top of that, the lines were not straight, so you either have to measure it, you know, pre-draw straight lines, or tape it off, which if you're going to tape it off, you may as well do it this way. Save yourself some white acrylic. But this is gonna be a little harder than I thought it would be. Okay, so I've got a little bit more of this thing off. Just wanted to show you what a clean edge looks like versus one that has taken some splatter. I don't even see that or not. One thing about glossy spray paint, you have to put a acrylic sealant over it, because the one thing with glossy spray paint is that it sticks to you. I mean, even when dried, if you grip this thing, listen. It has a tendency to stick to your skin, and it's just a feeling. But yeah, remember how this looks? Next shot, I'm going to show you how this looks like after touch-up work. Okay, one more shot before then. Couple things to note. The panel process will actually leave a slight gap here. A lot of people actually commented there was a way to get rid of this thing. Unless you can get one long strip of paper and panel it in one go, no. There's no other way to do it. So what happens is if you're not careful with the tape and don't cover that little difference in elevation there, you'll get these little spots where you see it has kind of bled out or gotten into those little crevices. But yeah, and then this one right here is just bad taping, and it just gets worse along the line. Those little small little dots like this. This side had it pretty rough. As you can see toward the tip, there's this huge mess here. This is going to be a pain to fix. But the other side, besides those little difference in elevations, just one little blemish here. That I can fix, but it's I guess it's on the larger side, a medium. Other than that, this came out pretty nicely. The tip on this one came out absolutely perfectly. Although, on camera it looks a little lopsided. Probably is, just slightly. No matter. But yeah. Touch this up and let you guys have a look at what it looks like completely assembled. And all. Okay, so here's this whole thing finished. See, this one really looks about, what, 21 hours, 22 hours? So it's not a particularly long build, but this section right here still probably took the most. Took 4 or 5 tries to get that all secured into place. And as you can see, the patchwork done here to correct those little leaks. Still tell a little bit, but not a whole lot when it comes to like brush strokes. I mean, bring it back from the camera a little bit and you really don't notice it. So yeah. Although this one thing that still bugs me is the that little fold, that little scratch type thing. I'm not too sure if you can see it on camera or not. I think you can. It's that little line right here. If I can get it in the light. Nah, I don't think I can get it on camera. But yeah. That, in person, you can actually see it when the light reflects off of it. And that's why you gotta be really careful not to scratch the surface of this with either your nail or your clamps or what have you not. Because once you paint it, it will be very, very noticeable. Well, 1 down, 2 to go.